Hey everyone, Jay here. As always, I'm going to take you through some recommendations for ways in which we might adapt our CrossFit Linchpin workouts for kids. We're going to take a look back at Monday the 10th of October. We've got a great workout. I have to be honest, it's one of my favourite workouts, the Chief. So we've got 5 cycles of AMRAP 3, 3 power cleans, 6 push-ups, 9 air squats, rest 1 minute. And you repeat that for five times round. We're going to take a look at what we might do for the power cleans and then push-ups and air squats. Now, there's actually not a lot of adaptation you need to do for this workout. Really, where the most amount of adaptation is probably going to come is with the power cleans. Quite a complex movement. So, we'll start off with our advanced kids. I'm going to reduce the number of cycles, but I think it's appropriate to let them get a really good taste of this workout. We like to use AMRAPs for our children, so we've got the AMRAP, so we're going to keep that. I think having a rest in there is quite a nice idea to give them an opportunity to reset, sort of get a little recovery in, and then refocus on the quality of the movement again, if required. We're going to have 3 dumbbell hang power cleans. Now, to be honest, you could use the hang power clean with the med ball that we showed you recently, or you could do 3 sumo deadlift high pulls, which is another great movement that we like to introduce our children, sort of that introductory Olympic lifting style movement that we like to introduce in the foundational movements. Any of those would be an absolute perfect adaptation that I'd recommend for you. I've just put in here 3 dumbbell hang power cleans, something we like to use here. You could also, if they're not ready to use 2 implements, just do one, having 1 dumbbell hang power clean. I'm going to have a video of my daughter showing you just some really light dumbbell hang power cleans. They're really light. She's still learning the movement, and you'll see that sometimes she doesn't quite send her hips back on the receive. Sometimes she's just sending her knees forward, but it's really light load, and she's getting there with the sort of keeping her arms straight when she jumps, and then keeping it nice and close on the catch. You'll see that on the video of her demo. And then push-ups. By this stage, our advanced kids, I would be suggesting that they're doing full push-ups from the floor, especially for low reps for 6 and only for 3 minutes at a time during those cycles. If it does start to fatigue, if they do start to lose form, then obviously you can go to one of our push-up variations that you'll see in previous videos. Just some options that you could go for is the warm-up push-up or box elevated push-up, or it could be that they're holding a plank, or it could be a plank shoulder taps, or any of our plank variations if that's where they're at for their push-up. Because if they're not able to hold a plank position yet, then that's where they're going to be, and that's what we're going to look at with our less experienced children. So we've got AMRAP for quality. We've got 3 broad jumps. Now I'm going to do about a meter broad jump for my daughter, really focusing in on that sort of the landing and the knee position when she's landing. And then we've got 6 push-up variations. So just like I mentioned some of those variations, I'll recap them for you. If your children are not able to hold a plank position, then that's where you're starting. You're starting at that nice plank position, and you can vary up your plank. So we can have just a normal plank, we can have plank shoulder taps, we can have plank 360s, or we could have roving planks. So they might do 2 lengths roving plank in place of the 6 push-ups. Then we'll go to our worm push-ups, so where they're sort of slightly overextending in the back, but then they're ending up in that plank position, and then they're going to hold a nice straight body line on the way back down. And then you might have an elevated push-up, and maintaining a nice straight torso, straight body, whole way through that movement with the elevated push-up. And then 9 air squats. You know, nice, slow, controlled movement with these children. Now, the difference between our advanced and our less experienced children, we're going to take a bit of a slower pace with them. We're going to control their movement. We're absolutely looking for quality movement here. But with our more experienced children, we can let them sort of push the intensity a little bit as long as their movement is good. But here we're going to keep the intensity slow, and we're just going to do it as one AMRAP. And I would suggest that this AMRAP's probably going to last in the region of about 5 to 6 minutes. Just because the nature of the jump, the push-up and the air squats could lead to a bit of intensity there. Now, for our game, we've got a favourite game that I love to play at school with the children that I work with at school, and that's continuous rock, paper, scissors. So you're going to set up your hall or your space into 3 zones. You're going to have a start zone, and then this becomes the travel zone in the middle. You can see here we've got our X's and our O's. They're going to play a round of rock, paper, scissors. If they win the game, they're going to travel into the winner zone. And then another winner from another pair would travel into that winner zone there. So you can see here, we've got our 2 X's in the winner zone. Now our 2 O's have lost, and they've traveled down to the loser zone. Every time you travel into a new zone, you find a new partner, you play again. If you win, you travel across up to the winner zone. If you lose, you travel down to the loser zone. If you lose while in the loser zone, you stay there, but find a new partner. Hopefully you win and get to travel across. If you win in the winner zone, likewise, you find a new partner. Hopefully our children won't win every game and they get to travel across. This is where the fun bit happens. You can choose how they travel across. So you can use bear crawls, frog jumps, caterpillar walks, crab walks, rabbit jumps, you name it, you're only limited by your imagination. So they start off here, and then once that initial, everyone starts in the middle. Once you've had that initial round, then the middle becomes a travel zone. They travel from winner zone to loser zone if they lose, or they travel from loser zone to winner zone if they win. And you're hoping that at some point they'll win and lose some games. You can also add in some movements. So if they lose a game, they have to do a movement before they then travel across. So you're getting some extra added practice in there. They get lots of reps practice in of a particular movement you might choose. Have fun with this workout today, guys, and great fun with the game. Remember, keep quality high, and especially if intensity is getting high with a workout like this, you slow it down, give them a coaching point, tell them to make sure they're moving well before moving fast. Thanks very much, guys. Go. So our sole focus really on our broad jumps is a nice controlled landing and knees tracking the toes on the landing as well. So the variation of push-up I've got here demonstrates the warm-up push-up. These are for children that don't have the strength quite to push up and maintain body tension, but they are able to maintain a plank position. Hands under shoulders, feet together, making sure they finish in the plank. So we've got air squat here. So remember, initiating the movement with the hips going back and down, knees tracking the toes, keeping the chest up, and then maintaining a neutral lumbar curve. You might want to only focus on one point of performance with the children. It could be that you're starting with their stance, making sure their feet are in the right position, and you're selectively then ignoring some of the other faults. 8, 9. So with the dumbbell hang power clean, my daughter's relatively new to the movement, so our focus was really arm staying straight while she jumps, keeping the dumbbells close, and then trying to finish in that nice front rack position.